As the sole interactive entertainment medium in existence today, video games are naturally defined by their level of user input. Cause and effect systems are what keep people coming back to any given game. Gamers have to take in a wealth of data to make decisions and augment how they play. Most developers seem to think that the best way to present this information is through menus. Don't be fooled though. In video games, menus are evil. This is no doubt a perplexing claim for most people at the least, so let's break down the reasoning behind it. Interaction is what drives games, but menus are solely about presenting data. Spreadsheets of statistics and lists of items may get the job done, but they're very cumbersome and unintuitive. The worst thing menus do is act as a disruptive element. They break immersion, take you out of the game, and remind you that you're still sitting in a room, staring at a screen, mashing buttons. This is why menus are bad for game design, and thus, evil. Almost any game out there with or without menus can be used to make this point. To clarify though, let's take a look at a game that was hit and miss with its menus. Castlevania Lament of Innocence was a title that, despite its good gameplay, suffered from very poor menu design. As stated earlier, the worst thing menus do is break interaction. The developers tried to avoid this, not through redesigning the menus, but just by removing the pause feature. This was an abhorrible idea. The result? You still had to scroll through menus to use and equip items, but also had to fight monsters at the same time. This is a lesson to learn. If the menu does not pause the action, it needs to be possible to juggle both combat and item selection at the same time. Ultimately, Lament of Innocence suffered because its menus weren't streamlined for quick and easy real-time use. However, another game series during the same generation fared far better with both. Metal Gear Solid was, and still is, one of the better examples of a series using menus that are least disruptive. In the games, your inventory was split between two menus, one for items, one for weapons. Two separate menus, easy to open, scroll through, and close. This is one of the best ways menus can be implemented, by being quick and unintrusive. That isn't to say that the system was perfect though, as things got messy when there were a lot of items to scroll through. The fix was a full menu system made to back up the quick selection. However, having to move things between the backpack and the quick menus also broke down the streamlined gameplay experience. This was unfortunate, since the system worked so well on a small scale. Despite the good design and implementation of the menus in Metal Gear Solid, it may come as a surprise that the best way to use menus is to not use them at all. Think of the Mario series. While the core platforming titles used menus in some instances, it's only been to a very minimal extent, if at all. This was done to the benefit of the Mario games. As a result, each title has maintained its flow. Another good example was Portal, a game that's been hailed as one of the best ever made. While many things have contributed to that fact, one of the biggest reasons was how the game didn't make you stop for anything. In the game, you were only given what you needed, no more, no less. Thus, you didn't need any menus to get the job done, or have fun. There is one last thing though. The fact that menus, despite their disruptive nature, are often a necessary evil. The one game that perfectly demonstrated the necessity of menus or an effective equivalent was Fable 3. Unlike the preceding games in the series, Fable 3 had just about nothing that could be considered a menu. In fact, when you pressed the pause button, instead of being given a menu, you were teleported to a sanctuary. Here you could change weapons, clothes, check statistics, and save your game. As unique and creative as this alternative was, it ultimately did Fable 3 a disservice. It suddenly became a chore to swap weapons and save game progress, creating a strong desire amongst most players for a standard menu. This is something no developer should want any gamer to feel. thus drawing the point, menus are a necessary evil. There are plenty more games out there demonstrating the proper and improper implementation of menus and possible alternatives. The lesson to learn, though, is menus aren't perfect, and more effective alternatives should be considered. That also means hit-and-miss results like Fable 3 need to happen before proper replacements can be discovered. It's only through the discussion between gamers and developers that a proper alternative or balance can be found, though. If you have an idea that isn't just a complaint, then make yourself heard in the comments. Until next time, this has been a video blog from B10g.net for Machinima Realm, January 23rd, 2012. Strife out.